Hello, I'm Ellie for Edu4Java, and in this tutorial we are going to make our first graphic with Java. We're going to use JFrame, JPanel, and the paint method. To paint something, we first need a surface where to paint on. This surface or canvas where we're going to paint our first example is a JPanel object. There's another type of classes, but like GB canvas, but we're going to use JPanel. In the same way, a canvas needs a frame to hold it. Our JPanel will be framed in a window made by a JFrame object. Okay, now we're going to do it with an example that it's a lot easier to see. JFrame, the window. For this, we're going to open here an Eclipse and make a new Java project. I'm going to call it mini tennis. Finish. And here we're going to bring the code from the page. We're going to copy it. And here you just have to press on source and paste it. It takes a while, but here you can see it's created it. The first thing we did in this code is create a new JFrame object, and this is the window. We're going to call it mini tennis. Let's run it so that you can see what's happening. Here is our window. As you can see, this is here the name mini tennis that we wrote here. And here we can see it. We have set the size 300 and 300. Set visible, we always have to write set visible, because if not, we create the window but we can't see it. As you can see here, we can make it bigger or smaller as you wish. And we write the last method, set default close operation, so that when we close the window, the program stops. Okay, so now we've got a window that can be maximized, minimized. It can change its size. This can be all made because when we create a JFrame object, we start an engine. This engine is called AWT engine or swing engine. And basically, this engine uses several threads. It executes several threads. These threads, what they do is open the window, they draw what's in the window, and they also manage the events that occur. We should know what is a thread in Java now. Normally, a program is executed by just one processor, line by line. Threads allow a program to start several executions at the same time. This is as if there were several processors running at the same time their own sequence of instructions. Even though threads and concurrents are very powerful tools of Java, there are also got several drawbacks. There can be problems when two threads enter the same variables. It is interesting to think that two threads can be running the same code at the same time. We can think that a thread, for like an example, is like a cook preparing a dish, reading a recipe. Two concurrent threads, two threads executing at the same time would be like two cooks working in the same kitchen, preparing one dish with the same recipe. or with different recipes. The problems come when both cooks try to use the same frying pan at the same time. AWT engine and thread AWT event queue. For this, we're going to take a look at the code. We're going to run the program in debug mode, and we're going to see the debug perspective. Here we can see the threads that make up the AWT engine. The most important one of these threads is this one here, thread AWT event queue. He is in charge of painting on the screen, and he's in charge also of receiving the events that take place from the operative system. These events, for example, when we make click with the mouse, this thread receives this click from the mouse, and then this thread will do whatever we have programmed, developed to do. Also, an event is from the keyboard. Anyone who presses a key, this thread will do whatever we want him to do. Okay, let's continue. To be able to paint, we need a canvas. We're going to copy this code, and we're going to create a class. In this perspective, like before, paste, and it creates a class. Here we can see that game2 extends from JPanel. In the static main, we can see that after doing a new JFrame, we add our new game2, our class, which extends JPanel, which is a canvas. How are we going to paint the canvas? The canvas is going to be painted with the method paint, which is called by the engine whenever it thinks it's necessary. This method has a parameter of the type graphics, as we can see here, but what we really want is graphics 2D. Because we're going to use this graphics 2D has a lot more methods that we are going to use afterwards, and we need graphics 2D. But here we can pass graphics by a parameter because of compatibility. Here we make a cast and we create a variable. So this variable is graphics 2D. That is what we're going to need. This graphics 2D has all the methods we're going to use and we're going to need to paint our game. So here with this method set color, we're going to set the color red in this case. With this method, we're going to draw the circle. Here it would be an oval, but we set 30 for the height and 30 for the width, so it's going to be the same for the height and the width, so it's going to be a circle. And here we've got the position where we're going to draw the circle. The position is defined by X and Y. As we can see here it is well explained. We have an X and Y axis. Here, for example, this circle is defined by X equals 0, because it starts here, and Y equals 0 too. This square here is in the position X equals 50 and Y equals 0, because it starts at this point. For this empty square, we're going to have X equals 50 and Y equals 50. For this circle, empty circle, we've got x equals 0 and y equals 50. So for all these methods, fill oval, draw oval, and fill rectangle, the positions here are defined as we've already said. These two last parameters are the height in the first place and the width in the second place. We're now going to execute the program, and we can see that this first one is this circle here, 0, 0. The second oval 0, 50 is going to be this one. Fill rectangle is going to be 50 here x and 0 y, so it's this one, and draw rectangle is 50, 50, so it's going to be this one. There's another way of painting. You create a new object, a new ellipse 2D with all the parameters, and you call the method draw. It's exactly the same, and we have this for our result. It's just another way of doing the same. I told you before that the method paint is called by the engine. We have to put first a breakpoint in the method paint, and we now execute the program with debug. We say yes, and now we see that it stops here where we put the breakpoint. At the very beginning of the program, just when the window opens, the paint method is called, is to paint the window. Afterwards, if we minimize and we run it again and we maximize, we can see that it stops again in the paint method. If we change the size of the window, we execute and the same, it stops again. We play it again and it stops there again. So we can see the first thing it does, it calls the paint method. Another interesting thing here is the thread which is called is thread AWT event queue. It is this one where it is suspended. This thread, as we told in the first place, is the one which is in charge of the painting. Okay, for this we finish this tutorial. See you in the next tutorial, animation of a moving object. Bye.